Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do a book unhaul. For the past year, I really haven't showed you guys all of the books that I have been unhauling. I just stick them in these bags and take them to the book exchange, get store credit, and then use that store credit to buy other books. That's been my jam for the past year. There's a whole gambit of reasons why I believe that you should go through your shelves and clean them out, make room for new books that you're interested in, especially if you have limited space like I do. This year, one of my big goals is to read, you're actually balancing on my TBR shelf right now, is to read 2/3 of the books that I started the year with. I started with 139 books, and at the end of 6 months, I am hoping to have reduced my physical TBR by 1/3. And then from that number, so if I add books, I also have to take that into account. And then at the end of the year, it will be emptied by 2/3. So I'm constantly looking at my bookshelf. What can I get rid of? What am I no longer interested in reading? And we're here with the first unhaul of 2022. These are books that when I started the year, I was like, okay, I'm no longer interested in reading these, or I've read them and they weren't my favorites. I don't want to keep them in my collection. The first one is All the Beautiful Lies by Peter Swanson. I read this back in October of 2021 and it was okay. I wasn't like a super fan. I've liked a couple of his other books better, and I actually did get this at the book exchange, so I know for sure that they will take this back from me. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of it. Next is Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Tarryn Fisher. This is actually a bind up of the 3 little parts that they released. It's the complete series. I don't know. I'm getting rid of this one. I have not read this one. I ordered this one special because I didn't want all the little additions, even though I like those covers better. But yeah, I'm getting rid of this one because I haven't heard great things, and I don't know, I'm just not interested in it. I'm also getting rid of this copy of Twin Peaks, The Secret History of Twin Peaks by Mark Frost. This is another one that I picked up at the book exchange. It's just like about the show, and it has like a whole bunch of cool case files and stuff like that. I might see if someone is interested in getting this, like if they're a super fan of the show. I still have not made it through the entire show, even though I'm so interested by it. I literally think I'm cursed, or that show and I are cursed, because every time I go to watch the show, something bad happens in my life. So I'm kind of just fearful at this point to watch the entire show. And I'm not kidding you guys. I've been trying to watch this show for over 20 years, and every time I start it, something bad happens. And I'm not saying like light stuff. I actually think I mentioned this in a video before on my channel like a long time ago, but I just don't think having this in my life, it's a big chunky book that I'm probably never going to read, is something that I want to keep around. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. 3 book of the months that I'm getting rid of, all of them I have read. Not a Happy Family by Shari Lapena. Getting rid of this one. It was okay. It wasn't the best. Catherine Ryan Howard's 56 Days. I thought about keeping it because it was like a pandemic thriller, you know, but I don't need to just keep it in my life for that. I have enough memories of COVID. So I'm going to get rid of that because I thought it was average. And the Ex Hex by Erin Sterling, also getting rid of that. Read it, but I just thought it was average. So that's the first bag of books. The second bag is full to the top. So I went through my young adult shelf when I was reorganizing, and I decided to get rid of some Neal Shusterman books. I have Dry by Neal Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. I read this for Booktubers and Brews on Jacqueline's channel back in April of 2020. And then Game Changer by Neal Shusterman, which I read and hosted an event in my book club for that one. And none of these were really that great, so getting rid of those. I would say if you're interested in both, I would prefer you to pick up Dry over Game Changer, but that's just my personal preference. Charlie's barking. Can you hear her? I'm also getting rid of Tell Me 3 Things by Julie Buxbaum. I actually really do remember enjoying this, But the thing is, it's been years since I've read it, and I'm not going to reread it, so I should just get rid of it so someone else can read it and enjoy it. Also, the graces and the curses. This really hurts because it's a duology. It's like a witchy duology, and I really do like the graces, the atmosphere, the characters, the pacing, all of that. I've actually read this one twice, and I rated it 5 stars both times, but the curses just ruined it for me. I don't know if the author was in a rush, didn't have any unique ideas, or what the deal was. The thing about these books is they're so beautiful. Like, look at that. So I'm really sad. And then this one has this really cool like navy font inside. This one did not. This one, it does have the curses on the front. And it just has regular old black font inside. But yeah, I really liked this one, not so much this one. I went ahead and reread this one. I've read it twice, so it's time to say goodbye. Next up, some people were a little upset that I DNF'd this, Educated by Tara Westover. This is actually my second copy of Educated. I gave it a good go. I can always try to get it from my library if I'm really interested in reading it at a later date. But for right now, I'm not feeling the writing. And the narration isn't even better. Like the audiobook isn't really that much better. So I'm gonna let this one go. I'm sure it has an interesting story to tell, obviously, but it doesn't have enough emotion behind the things that are happening for me to connect with it. So I just feel like I'd be pushing myself to read something that I wouldn't really be enjoying, you know. 2 DNFs from December. I have All Girls by Emily Layden. I made it pretty far into this one. It was one of my most anticipated books of last year, and I gave it 2 chances, and I made it pretty far. And yes, I could have pushed myself through it. I had the audiobook through Scribd, so I could have pushed myself and finished it, but like, why waste my time when I knew it wasn't going to be higher than 3 stars at the very most. So I'm getting rid of it, even though, again, what's with this beautiful cover? And then the Mistletoe Pact, which also sounded really good. It's brand new, so I mean, oh well. I asked on my Instagram lately if I should read or unhaul some books, and one that was almost unanimously unhaul was The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. And I'm a little hesitant because now it's being made into a movie. But I don't know. I'm not itching to read this. If I want to read it, I can either find another copy at the thrift store, the book exchange, or get it from my library. So I'm not too mad to let this one go. I did originally get it from the book exchange, so no big deal. I am sad to be getting rid of this one. I was so excited about getting my first Nightworms box last year, but I ended up getting Goblin by Josh Malerman, and it came with a signed book plate, which I actually took off and put in the book. But I have just not heard the best things about this. I've heard that like maybe the first story is the best, and then it just kind of goes downhill from there. And since I am still new to horror, and a lot of like seasoned horror readers are not really enjoying this one, I'm gonna let it go. Again, I'm so sad because that cover though. 2 more books. This is another one that I tried reading in October. I originally got this at the book exchange. A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. I was super happy to support the author and read it and experience the story, but there's no plot in this book, and character-driven stories, like 100% character-driven stories, are not my thing. So I'm gonna let this go. Plus it's YA, so I'm gonna let this go and let someone else possibly enjoy the story. Again, what the heck is with the beautiful covers? The last book that I'm gonna get rid of is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and this is one that my mom actually got me, but there's nothing unfortunately like special about this edition. I'm not sure if this is even the edition that she thought she was going to give me, but I have a prettier edition. So I'm giving up this copy. It doesn't even have any illustrations or anything like that in it. It does have little chapter header illustrations, like these little squirrels that are so cute. That's super cute, but I have this edition, The Secret Garden, and it is the Penguin Threads edition, and it's just really, really pretty. That's what the inside looks like it's been cross-stitched. Here's the back, and I mean, how beautiful is that? So yeah, it has deckled pages, which I'm not a super huge fan of, but this is the edition that I read. This is the edition that I love. I love this one much more than this one. And I would like to collect maybe like special editions of my favorite classics, but this would not be one that I wanted to collect. So as you can see, it is a mixed bag of things I have read, things I have not read, and I actually think it's the majority of things that I've actually read because I've been going through my TBR more and more so often that I think I honestly want to read every single thing on this shelf. But stay tuned for later in the year when I might end up having to do another unhaul. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you think about book unhauls, if you like watching them, if you don't like watching them. I was doing them pretty frequently until last year, and then I just stopped doing them, and now people have mentioned wanting to watch them, so here we are doing an unhaul. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having a lovely day. I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye guys.